Hi, I'm Amanda from Life Unravelled, where we unravel life's little mysteries. Today we're looking at social skills and all the different things that we need to be able to teach our children so that they can navigate that social scene. It's really tricky for these little ones to understand what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. So we really need to guide them and help them cope with those frustrations that are happening. Now, let's have a look at the definition of what a social skill is. Social skills are any level of competence facilitating the interaction and communication with others, where social rules and relations are created, communicated, and changed in verbal and non-verbal ways. So what does that mean? Basically, it's the ability to act appropriately in a situation. So that's if we're going shopping, going to parties, also going to other people's houses. How do we interact with people, and including adults and our peers? Well, it sort of seems really easy, but there are different areas of our lives that we react in different ways. For instance, at home we're a lot more relaxed and you can sort of kick back a little bit and things can be a little bit more relaxed. But when we're out and about in a social situation, as far as shopping or going to the mall, if we're going to the museum or going to the zoo, there are certain interactions that we really need to look at. So we're going to have a look today at what are the things we can do at home to help our children be able to cope with those social situations. We're also going to have a look at the emotions that these little ones feel and how can we help them cope with their emotions. At the end of the day, it's all about them understanding how they're feeling and what is the appropriate way to show those feelings. And lastly, we're going to have a look at socializing with others, having a look at how we interact with others and teaching our little ones what are the appropriate things to do in the different situations. So let's have a closer look at home. There are a few skills that we really need to teach our children. One of them is that they know their address. Now, it might seem really easy for us, or if you've changed address so many times, then you might find that it's tricky to know which address you're in. I know sometimes when I've been ringing up and someone will ask me what my address is, and we've moved around quite a lot over the last couple of years, and I'll go, is that South Brisbane, or is it, whereabouts are we, where are we living? And for children it can be really tricky and they're not really used to that. So we need to teach them what their address is so that if a policeman finds them or something like that happens, that they can tell them what the address is. And at the age of 4, they should be able to know at least the suburb and the street that they're in, if not the number. It's also important to make sure that they know who to tell their address to. So that stranger danger is an important part of this year level or this 4-year-old journey. So making sure that they know their address, but know that they don't just tell everyone what their address is. Now, one of the other things that's also really important for our kids to be able to do is to know how to use a knife and fork. Now, a lot of kids will be experimenting. They'll be using spoons and forks, and some will even be using chopsticks, which is fabulous to do, great for their fine motor movement. But we do need to teach them how to use a knife and to be responsible with their knife use. So sometimes using a sharp knife, people give kids blunt knives, but you're actually better to use a sharp knife because that way it's easier for them to actually cut through. And if it's easier for them to cut through, they're not pressing down. They learn that sawing motion with the knife, and then they're also taught how to behave with it responsibly. Now, if you find that your little one's grabbing the knife and stabbing things with it, then obviously you're not going to give them a really sharp knife. But to teach them that responsibility, it is important to try and give them the opportunity to make good decisions. Now, if they make very poor decisions, then you'll say things like, well, Mummy can't give you a knife anymore because you were stabbing the table. Mummy will have to cut your food up for you. Now, when you think that you can do it properly, we can have another try. And then maybe in a couple of days, you can give them back the knife and say, now remember, this is how we use a knife, and make sure that you don't do silly things with it. And so you can see that you're building up their knowledge of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. Another aspect that we really don't think much of is getting dressed and undressed. Now, by the age of 4, they should be dressing themselves fully. The only thing that you should be helping them with is really tricky buttons or laces. And let's face it, when they go to school, they're going to have to do up their laces. So many teachers complain bitterly about the number of children that can't do their laces up. So just teaching them how to do that, probably around about the age of, coming to the end of 4, around about the age of 5, is a great skill for them to have. And they'll feel so important when other kids can't do laces and they can. And then they have the ability to then help other people and be kind and considerate to others. Now, that ability for them to show their knowledge and to help other people is a great grounding for their gratitude and to build their self-esteem. So if you can teach them how to do their laces early, then that gives them those opportunities to have their self-development. Now remember, it is much quicker and much easier for you to dress them. But the more that they do it and the more repetition that they have of doing it, the quicker that they'll get. So it's going to take a little bit of time, and you might just have to step back, take a deep breath, and give them time to work out how to put it on. Whether that's a shirt or a jumper or a pair of shorts, even socks. Give them the time that they need, and then you'll find it gets quicker and quicker and quicker. Reward them too for being really quickly getting dressed. And maybe have sticker charts so that when they do it themselves and they're fully dressed, they can put a sticker on the chart, and once they reach 10 stickers, then you can do something special with them. Like you could maybe go for a picnic in the backyard, or you could go for a walk to a coffee shop. It doesn't have to be a really fantastic, big, expensive prize for them. Often it's just time that they spend with you, and that's what they really value the most. So those are some of the little things that you can help them with at home, and this really helps their self-development, it helps their self-esteem, and it gives them opportunities to be kind to others and to be able to cope in an emergency if that ever happens to them. So what are some of the things that we can do to help our kids at home? We can eat as a family. You'd be surprised how important it is for children to eat as a family and to have that family time together. Teach them to express themselves and to make sure that they can do the things that they need to be able to do in the time that they need to be able to do it. And by allowing your kids to have that time to learn these things and be able to do it lots and lots of times with lots of repetition, you'll find that your lives will get a lot easier in the long run. There's so many things that we need to be able to teach our kids at home in the social side that it really is important that we do take the time to do that now. Thanks for listening to part 1. Part 2 will go through the emotional side and how we can help our kids
cope with their emotions and cope with the emotions of others. See you soon, bye. This video was produced by Imagination Pty Ltd for Life Unravelled. All advice and information given during this course is designed for general use only. If you have any concerns for your child, please seek professional advice as soon as possible. For terms and conditions, please see website www.lifeunravelled.com.au.